We saw in the previous lesson, as we built out our website and as we look at our HTML code, we started to use divs a whole lot. And with HTML5, now we've got some more options and a better naming mechanism within our HTML tags. So let's take a look at what was introduced with HTML5. And it is always a good idea to take into consideration these new elements. We see we've got a whole ton of them here. We've got article, aside, and we've got footer, header, and we've got section here. We've got a bunch of them here that actually represent the same thing that we were doing originally within the divs. So basically, from article, aside, and using any one of these, we can actually restructure our HTML. So instead of having header here, a div as header, we can update this, and I'm going to just call it header. And so this is going to make more sense when you're reading through your web page and you can see, okay, well, this is obviously a header for my website. And sometimes web developers, they might use just the header for the head section. Other times they might have over here, they might have a header. So this might be a header for this particular section, and that's why you still need to keep that ID in there, because you want to make sure that that header, it also represents different sections within your content. So always be aware that whenever you're using these more semantic HTML5 elements, that they're actually reusable. And if you're going to be using them anywhere else within your page, make sure that you keep those IDs if you want to be able to differentiate them. So we saw that earlier, that whenever we're connecting to our styling, we need to be able to pick out those elements and isolate them. So if we want some specific attributes, some specific styling attached to them, make sure that we have a way to identify them. So another one that gets used fairly often is footer. So a lot of times you might see something like you've got header, footer. If we've got a web page where we've got multiple columns here, so we might have something where we've got a section here. So this might be one section. And then another one, so for a side menu, so we might have something called aside, and then this is where our side menu contents would go. So maybe the aside would go there, this would be another section, and I'm gonna have to wrap this one around. So sometimes you're gonna see article gets used. And so now this article has two sections in it, and we've got a side, so side menu. So maybe in here you've got an unordered list and you've got a bunch of list items. So buy now, list item, new product, and so on. So let's go take a look at our web page now and we'll see what it looks like. So we've broken it apart, a lot smarter. This actually doesn't look a whole lot different, but now we've set up the structure and we're ready to apply our styling to make our website look and feel as we're intending it to look and feel. So that's the main thing here with the new semantic elements, to keep in mind that this is a better way for us to represent our code and make it a lot easier when we're thinking about our code, how we want to look and how we want to apply all of these different blocks of code when we apply some styling, how we want it to look like. So the next lesson, we're going to take a deeper look at CSS, and we also have forms coming up. So there's quite a lot of information coming up in the upcoming lessons on how to use HTML. So next lesson, we're looking at forms.